I'm going to go ahead and call to order the City Council meeting for August 11th, 2026. Please rise for the invocation and pledge. Pray with me. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this place, this beautiful place to live. Thank you for the people of this community who have come together once again to help their neighbors. Lord, thank you for those who serve our community. Thank you for our first responders. Thank you for all the city employees and city staff who work tirelessly to provide services to our community. Lord, thank you for the many blessings you shower upon us. Give us strength and wisdom, peace and honor. To your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Martin, do we have any announcements of community interest?
Yes, sir. We have a few tonight. We'll start off with the movies. In the park, I've actually moved it to 400 Park.
We were originally scheduled for having them at, I believe, Louise Hayes Park, but we had to change the venue. And we will be having the movies on August 22nd. We'll be showing Back to the Future. Sorry about that. I think I went the wrong way. The film is free, and the movies will start at dusk. We get more information on the city's website and the park recreation pages. Another event that we're having on August 29th will be the Greenskeeper Revenge. It's a four-person scramble. And if any of you don't know what a four-person scramble, it's, I guess, you get four people on the, what happened there? Anyways, you get four people on the course, and you get the best shot wins gets the choice of where the ball would be placed, and then they go to the next one, and it makes it for an exciting game that everybody can enjoy, and it's quick, and it's an interesting thing. So you can register at www.golfkerrville.com, and or you can go to our website on that, and I think that's all the announcements I have so far. So,
You can also call like I did, and Bobby will sign you up.
that's
So,
it, right?
that's
Call the golf course, Scott Schreiner Golf Course. That's all I have tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Council, any announcements?
Sure. Okay, so we're having our second annual Water Street Festival downtown Kerrville. Streets will be closed. Vendors, art vendors, business owners that have something to sell will be there. We had it last year. It was a great success. It's October 24th from 9 to 3. It's free. Park in the garage, walk on over, have lunch. There's a kids parade at 1. It's a great way to come together on a positive note for our town. See you there.
Jeff?
I do, yes, sir. I've tried to say something positive about a department or an employee or somebody in the last few meetings. After the meeting, I see there's a lot of citizens here from Monterey Street. Thank you all for being here again this evening. The mayor and I went over after our Wednesday meeting, and the way that we saw everybody there mucking out houses and taking care of their neighbor and working together, man, made me really, really glad that I live in Kerrville. Not that I serve as one of your council members, but to see the community coming together and working together and doing things. That's just the way that our citizens help each other. But then we have, not employees this time I want to talk about, but individuals that come together and do things for the community. And that's John Henderson and Philip Ernest. I can't say enough about these two guys that are down in the river trail coordinating volunteers, getting 30 people to come down on the weekends with heavy equipment, clearing the river trail from G Street back to Louise Hayes Park. So at least they're getting it open for everybody. So hopefully sometime we can get back out there and start enjoying our river trail again. But it makes me proud to be a Kerrvillian, to see our Kerrverts come together and work together and try to do the right thing for our community, and it just makes me Kerrville proud, so thank everybody.
Okay. Question? All right, the next item on the agenda is a presentation for Kerr Together. You can come down here with me. Are you? Good. Come on down. All right. Ms. Hagemeyer, good to see you. This is the proclamation of the city of Kerrville. Whereas the city of Kerrville and Kerr County experienced devastating and severe storms and flooding beginning on July 13th, 2026. And whereas the city of Kerrville and Kerr County passed a declaration of disaster on July 16th, 2026, pursuant to section 418-108A of the Texas Government Code, and whereas the state of Texas governor declaration of disaster was issued on July 14th. Whereas it is essential to the well-being of the city of Kerrville and Kerr County residents and the community at large to support coordinated long-term recovery efforts that address unmet needs, mitigate future risk, and enhance community resilience following a disaster, especially in light of the disaster recovery from July 4th, 2025, which has not yet been completed. And whereas the city of Kerrville and Kerr County signed a proclamation on February 7th, 2026, officially recognizing Kerr Together Long-Term Recovery Group as the designated long-term recovery organization for Kerr County, responsible for coordinating community-led long-term recovery efforts, and whereas it is mutually beneficial to establish and maintain cooperative relationships with other local, regional, state, and federal government agencies, as well as various partner organizations in order to facilitate post-disaster recovery. And whereas through generous donations by HEB, Rebuild Texas, and other local private donors, Kerr Together Long-Term Recovery Group was able to secure a building, staffing, and critical resources to establish the Kerr Together Disaster Relief Center for long-term recovery. Now therefore, I, Joe Herring, as Mayor of Kerrville, Texas, do hereby proclaim, 1, that the Kerr Together Disaster Relief Center for Long-Term Recovery is hereby designated, authorized, and encouraged to continue operations at 98 Coronado Drive in Kerrville, Texas. And 2, that the Kerr Together Long-Term Recovery Group and its Board of Directors are officially recognized to provide governance, strategic direction, and oversight for long-term recovery coordination efforts within Kerrville and Kerr County to plan, coordinate, implement, and expedite recovery activities in an orderly and effective manner for both the July 2025 and July 2026 disasters. And the city of Kerrville and Kerr County experienced devastating and severe storms and flooding beginning on July 13th, 2026. And 3, that the Kerr Together Disaster Relief Center will house various partner organizations at the discretion of the Long-Term Recovery Group and state and federal agencies to facilitate accessibility to recovery resources to respond as necessary to disaster disruption and damages. And 4, that the Kerr Together Long-Term Recovery Group, through its Board of Directors, shall establish and publish a long-term recovery plan in coordination with the Kerr County Emergency Management Plan and shall operate in alignment and with applicable state and federal recovery frameworks to ensure transparency, accountability, and continuity of recovery efforts. In witness, therefore, I have signed and caused the seal to be affixed on this 11th day of August, 2026. So, thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you all. Kerr Together was stood up last year after the flood, and so once again, sadly, we are here again. While there is more devastation to our residents and the individuals, we are still working through what that looks like as we have less capacity whenever it comes to labor, volunteers, funding. And so we're working with our city, county, state, and hopefully soon federal agencies to help us with this disaster and our recovery.
Thank you. Ms. Hagemeyer is a Tybee graduate. Well, not Tybee graduate.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you went to OOH or Tybee.
That was my sister's.
Anyway, local girl helping our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Visitors and Citizens Forum. Do we have anybody signed up?
Yes, sir, we have 5.
Oh, let's go with number 1,
Steve Thompson.
Mr. Thompson. We have to record these, so if you'll say your name and what city you live in.
My name is Steve Thompson. I live in Ingram, but I basically shop in Kerrville. Greetings, Mayor and Council. I have a few questions to express my concern over flock cameras. Were the cameras approved by the county commissioners or city council in a previous open meeting? I don't know, I've only been to 2 meetings, so this all may be moot. The next question is, have all liability contingencies been researched and assessed by the city? Specifically, the threat of lawsuits by individuals against the city for at least 9 flock cameras currently within city limits. In addition, according to a July 27, 2026 J.D. Rucker article, now flock also has drones. The risk of injury and damage by crashed drones, if used here, should also factor into your assessment. Has a specific cost-benefit analysis been conducted of the potential liability versus potential benefit of the cameras? According to a July 29, 2026 X post by Wall Street Apes, towns in Connecticut are already canceling their contracts with Flock over privacy concerns. These cities also cite no measurable helpfulness in solving crimes. Do existing Kerrville Flock cameras have signal trace technology? Idaho Falls just got hit with a wave of tort claims, according to a July 31st X post by Noah Price. Have all employees and contractors accessing the camera feeds been properly trained on privacy rights? Have necessary internal controls been established to manage the liability presented by allowing data collection through flock cameras on city property? The Orwell Day X account on July 30th noted police are accused of misusing flock cameras in at least 12 states already.
And I don't want to interrupt your rhythm, but I need to say something very clearly. The city of Kerrville has no contracts with flock cameras. We do not have flock cameras. They may be in the city, but they may be on state highways. They
are within city limits, and when somebody goes to sue,
state highways. They are not part of the city government, all right? They're part of TxDOT. If you have a concern about flock cameras specifically, we don't have a financial relationship with them.
well, I would suggest that you have potential liability, especially since some of the cameras are pointed away from the highways, and you can see that on dflock.com.
I mean, I don't want to argue with you. I just want you to know that the facts are,
I understand what you're saying.
we do not
but-
control the state highways.
I find it interesting that you're claiming no connection when other cities across the country are claiming association.
And I find it
So,
interesting that if I tell you the truth, you don't believe it.
well, unfortunately, in this day and state, with the state of politics in this country, one has to wonder and verify everything. So,
course.
thank you for the information.
Of course. Now, if anyone else wants to talk about specifically flock cameras, I've given you the answer. The city of Kerrville does not have a financial relationship with flock cameras. However, and we will be issuing a press release later, either this evening or in the morning, we do have license plate readers. They're in vehicles. Okay? So there's one, I think in 2 vehicles, and they've been used for more than a decade. There are other companies that provide some automated license plate reader services, but we have no flock-specific cameras within the city of Kerrville that are controlled or contracted with by the city government. And from what I hear, we're going to issue a press release later to try to explain that. I have noticed these things online the last couple of days. Even the New York Times had a story this week about flock cameras and small communities like ours that have concerns about them. And so, please let us respond. And if you care to believe us, that's fine. If you don't care to believe us, that's also fine. It's a free country. Who's next?
Clay Bennett.
Mr. Bennett.
My name is Clay Bennett. I'm a resident.
Of Kerrville?
Citizen. Yes, sir.
Good.
Joe, first of all, I don't like the way the press handled you and the sheriff over the
thank you.
flood, okay? I disagree with that. You guys stepped up. You guys were up there trying to do the right thing, and that's why you guys got hammered. And I disagree with that, and I expressed that to everybody I talked to.
Thank you.
Okay? Flock cameras. They're in your city. They're on your light poles for your traffic lights, okay? They're unconstitutional.
That
They're
I will.
warrantless search, okay? Please.
I'll let you
don't-
finish.
don't
I'm sorry,
interrupt
I'm not
me.
trying to
This
interrupt
isn't
you.
going to be a debate. The city council should have been asked to put this on the agenda if they're going to put them in our city. The county commissioners did put it on their agenda. You guys did not. There's cameras all over the city that shouldn't be here. They're violating your citizens. There's uproar all over the country to remove these cameras. There's a lot of misuse, and I'm not saying anybody in this town would do that, but if a low-level law enforcement can abuse these cameras, imagine what other people can do. It's an Orwellian, dystopian dragnet, okay? They need to come off of city property. You own those traffic lights.
We actually don't.
Well, they're in your city.
They
They're in
are.
your city. They're at Lowe's. I think before the flood, there may have been one in Louise Hayes Park. I'm not sure, but the map does show that. You guys, I respect everything you do. It's a hard job working like this and having to deal with everybody. But you guys could do something about it. Don't give me this, go talk to TxDOT or talk to somebody else. It's in your city. You should go talk to them. Every city that's on fire about this right now, and they're removing them and they're getting rid of this stuff. This is an illegal, warrantless search. They can string together timelines of travel. They can put together all kinds, it's warrantless. It's a warrantless search. It's no probable cause. And you shouldn't do that to your citizens. This is a free country. You respect our flag. God-given rights by the Constitution, okay? They're God-given. That means no one gets to take them away from it. And it doesn't matter if the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on the Virginia case or not. The interpretation, my dad always said, shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Everybody knows that one. My persons, the Founding Fathers said our persons are protected from search. You should protect your citizens. I can't control the rest of the state. You can't control the rest of the state, but we can control what happens in this town. People moved here because they liked the way this town was ran. I moved here personally because Tybee did not take C-scope, like 843 other school districts that did. I specifically left Houston because of what this town had to offer. I think this town, you guys got a chance to be a hero right now, okay? You guys have caught a lot of heat for no reason over the floods. This is something we could do something about here in town. I want to rally this town together, and I want to pack this room and bug you guys to death about this, but I would rather you guys just do the right thing, okay? That's all. I don't want to do that. I want to support you guys. I want to work with this, what you guys do here. I mean, it's important work that you guys do, and it's thankless work. It's very thankless. You personally, I've seen it, and it's not fair what happened. You did not cause that flood. You stood up to try to do the right thing. I saw you that very first press conference. I could tell in your eyes what's going on. I'm asking you guys to do the right thing. It's a George Orwellian nightmare.
Who's next?
Kevin Thompson.
Kevin here? Oh, sure.
But my last name isn't Thompson, it's Morales. So
Okay, thank you.
I do write sloppy, so. All right, so,
You live here in Kerrville, Kevin?
yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right, so with many possible disagreements we have today, further on, there's one thing we could possibly agree on is that we do not want to be spied on 24/7 without consent. So what I am here for is for the discontinuation of these current flock cameras or any license plate readers. So basically, these license plate readers or ALPRs are cameras powered with AI with the purpose of to capture and analyze every vehicle passing by storing the details of the vehicle that includes location, date, time, vehicle, make, model, dents, roof racks, and bumper stickers. Throughout the country, many are concerned with its warrantless tracking, false positives. There's many things to know about this. So, to finish this off to say, please don't make 1984 a reality. Thank you.
Who's next?
Arthur Gonzalez.
I know this man.
Well, Joe, this is gonna be my group behind me.
Okay,
Lawson,
good,
Monterey, and West Shriner.
good.
Went to Commissioner's Court, spoke to them.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm coming to y'all. They've asked me to speak on their behalf.
Certainly.
They need help. Bad. They can't wait. Last year, I spent the whole year here. I got 2 reps from Bumblebee, where I spent the whole year helping, cleaning up. No problem. This year, I went to my old neighborhood where I grew up, where I shared with you. And there ain't nobody out there. I rented a piece of equipment because I came with no equipment this time. Me, my body, and my truck. I pulled 3 trailers, 4 out of a creek, 3 out of Bumblebee, 1 in Town Creek with chemicals in it. How could that be missed? KPD, I called them. I found a trailer flipped over with diesel leaking out. Why don't people get off and check? I'm happy with law enforcement on what they do. I'm happy with the fire department. I don't live in Kerrville anymore, but this is my home place. And to come back to see my neighborhood where there's no help, and these people can't afford to dispose of their debris. This lady right here, I took her debris out of Bumblebee. $213. They can't afford that on West Shriner. I'm asking you to get it possible to open it up where those vouchers are a joke. They can't use those vouchers to get rid of construction material. They only want to allow the household trash. Come on, we know what happens when a flood happens. I've worked too many, Joe. Too many. I've dragged bodies out. And it ain't fun to see people. Where's she at? Alma, Ben. This lady almost died. We lost 2 this year. We could have lost 3. The only reason she's here is because a chain link fence she held on to. She might be the first house that gets redone. There's a whole bunch of houses, and you know, Joe. I met up with you out there. I got to walk with you, which I was thankful that no cameras, nothing was with us. It was just you and me. And on a personal basis, I've known your father, your family, you for years. And I'm asking this council, let's get FEMA. Let's push them a little bit harder. They need the help. They need financial help. They cannot afford it. And 60 grand, what people were told yesterday last year was a joke. To remodel and rebuild takes more than 60 grand. I don't care how small the house is. The wiring alone, plumbing, you're looking at least another 3. And the materials, really, come on. We know what it costs out there. So we need y'all to push for FEMA.
We are every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Kimber Malcolm.
Kimber Malcolm.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Technically, I'm a Hunt resident, but as a Hunt resident, I have no choice but to go to Kerrville. I'm very blessed to be able to go to Kerrville. I just want to remind everyone here that according to the Texas Constitution, it is dependent upon the preservation and the right of local self-government for the success of our state. And so this is regarding flock cameras, because as much as we can go to TxDOT and talk to them, it's y'all who elevate our voice. And I want to add on to what some people have said about the flock cameras. According to crimebycounty.com, Kerr County is safer than 61% of counties in Texas. According to citydata.com, crime in Kerrville has decreased over the past 5 years. So why are we spending money on surveillance? We could be paying our officers more. We could be using that money for a lot of things. I know that you just said that we're not. But the state could be using that money for literally anything else. Like helping build houses after the flood. That's a great use of that money. In regards to flock cameras, some will say nothing to hide, nothing to fear, and this is the language of tyrants. Tyranny operates through the law. In case anyone forgot, the Holocaust was legal, slavery was legal. Imagine how inescapable these horrors would have been with mass surveillance. It is incumbent upon y'all and our county commissioners to stand up for us in this regard. Police departments across the nation have been touting the benefits of flock cameras while using them to stalk ex-girlfriends. That puts us at risk. It puts our daughters at risk. They have also been using them to arrest and detain people, often at gunpoint, with children around, for a misread license plate. That is not America. Some have been detained for up to a month without trial. This is an egregious violation of our 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments, and I ask you all to consider the impact it has on our 2nd Amendment. How can we take up arms against a tyrannical government if they can follow every single move of ours? Flock cameras are not about safety, they're about an assault on our independence as individuals and as a nation. The tech barons who are pushing for this surveillance state revolution are crawling all over the files, like the big files that we've been waiting on the release. Those folks are the ones that are pushing for this surveillance state. Flock cameras are a piece of the techno-feudalism revolution. They are not for our safety. Those data centers none of us want that use up our water and kill our livestock in the womb, they're being constructed to support flock cameras. The fight against data centers is the same fight against flock cameras as they are the same entity. As stated in our Declaration of Independence, the power of the government is derived from the consent of the governed. We, the people, must consent to our governing forces. I, for one, do not consent to mass surveillance. It sounds like other people here don't either. That's the kind of thing that you find in China, not in America. And just so everyone else is also aware that there are internal memos from the DHS and the FBI which direct agents to put people with anti-tech sentiment on a domestic terrorist watch list. That's where our local government becomes so important, is that way you protect us from that kind of thing. I don't know why I'd be qualified to be on a domestic terrorist watch list for participating in my First Amendment right. But he who gives up freedom for safety deserves neither. Flock cameras present one of the greatest dangers to our community and to our nation. Don't get rid of them, please ban them. It is y'all who elevate us.
Who's next?
That's the end of the citizen speakers.
All right, thank y'all for participating. We have a consent agenda next. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and can be enacted with one motion unless a member of council, staff, or the public wishes to have any item removed from the consent agenda. Does anybody want any item removed?
No, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda number 4A, B, C, and D.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded by Jeff. Jeff won that one. I'm sorry.
Seconds tonight.
He's speedy
Y'all are
tonight.
slow on that end tonight.
Don't we get paid for seconds?
I think you get paid per second. All right. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously. All right. The next two items are public hearings on and ordinances on a first reading. Who wants to read in item 5A?
5A, ordinance number 2026-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 60 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Kerrville, Texas zoning code by changing the zoning of a property known as 1273 Bandera Highway from a mixed-use zoning district MU to a general commercial zoning district C3 and providing other matters relating to the subject. There are no citizen speakers signed up. However, this is a public hearing.
All right. Mr. Paxton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a zone change from mixed use to C3. You can see the adjacent property is currently owned C3. That is the same owner as this property. They're just requesting C3 so that as they continue to develop, they'll have matching regulations to the current property. This area is under the entertainment mixed use place type for the land use plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission discussed this at length and has actually asked staff to bring back a consideration for a change to the land use plan for a commercial area rather than mixed use area, since we've not seen any movement on the entertainment mixed use in this area. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at their last meeting. I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Mr. Paxton? All right, I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:33. Anyone wish to speak? All right, hearing none, public hearing is closed at 6:33. All right, council, what's your wish on item 5A?
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance number 2026-13 on the first reading.
I'll second. It's
Motion
been a
been
long
made
time since I've had a second,
and a
okay?
second. Any discussion?
Holler next.
All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously.
They get KPUB.
Kent and Crystal need to step it up.
They can have the next one.
All right, item 5B is also a public hearing and an ordinance. Who wants to read it in?
I'll do this one, and Kim can shoot for all the other ones. Ordinance number 2026-19, an ordinance amending in part ordinance number 99-18 as amended by adopting revised rate schedules for residential services and distributed generation rider, containing a cumulative clause containing a savings and severability clause, and establishing effective date. There are no citizen speakers signed up. However, this is a public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Whitler.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Mike Whitler. I'm the General Manager for the Kerrville Public Utility Board. I also have with me Amy Dozier, our Assistant General Manager. And we're here to request approval for a rate increase. Just some brief information or introduction. This is a KPUB initiated rate increase, actually initiated by management, primarily the two people here, in January 2025. We were initially planning to bring this or to have this implemented in November 25, a year ago. And we typically need to do this every 2 to 4 years. This rate increase has been approved by the KPUB board, and the board is requesting the council's approval. We need that approval as well. Our board has not taken this lightly. It's been on our agenda 5 times. First in July 25, 12 days after the flood. They said, no way you can do this. In September 25, our board passed a resolution authorizing using up to $3.4 million in rate stabilization fund transfers to delay the rate increase. We've been doing that, and it looks like we'll use most of that $3.4 million this year. And then in May, June, and July, it's been on our agenda again, discussing the cost of service study, rate recommendations, and finally in July, they adopted a resolution revising the residential rates. The cost of service study and rate revisions are based on a 3% transfer to the city, so there's no change there, and the budget that we're working on for next year is also based on a 3% transfer. KPUB runs a lean organization. We benchmark very strongly against our industry peers. Our numbers are almost always top quartile. On the rate side of things, data from the Department of Energy in 2024 in Texas, public power averaged 12.5 cents. This is for residential customers. Investor-owned utilities were 13.3. Competitive areas averaged 16.7. I don't know why that's considered competitive. And co-ops were 12.7. KPUB that year was 8.7. And we consistently stack up well. Also reliability, which is very important to our customers. Same year, same data source, the U.S. Department of Energy, EIA. If you look across all the U.S., the average customer that year saw 8.7 hours of outage time. 2024 was a great year for us, and our customers saw 27 minutes. We compare other things, revenues, debt service coverage, customers per employee, O&M expenses. There are just a number of things where again and again we do comparisons and try to make sure that we're doing a good job with the community's asset in KPUB. Amy Dozier, as usual, has done all the dirty work, and I'm going to turn things over to her, all the detailed work. I shouldn't say dirty work, but she's really been in the details with our rates consultant, and I'm going to turn over to her and let her talk about some of the details.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Have a few slides prepared for you. I'm going to start with a quick overview of our residential rate. So our residential rate has three components that you can see here: a customer charge, distribution charge, and power supply charge. Customer charge covers the cost of billing and customer service. Distribution charge covers the cost of poles, wires, linemen, substations, that kind of thing. Power supply charge is a direct pass-through of actual power costs, and it's broken into two components that you can see up there: a base rate that is a fixed rate set by the tariff, and then also a power cost adjustment, and that's the portion of the rate that can adjust to cover actual power supply cost fluctuations. What we're talking about tonight is a proposed rate adjustment that impacts all three components of the rate. Our last rate change was in November 2023. Anytime we have a rate change, it's based on a cost of service study that's prepared by an outside consultant. We typically do that every 5 to 7 years. New-Gen Strategies prepared our last cost of service study in 2025, and we're requesting implementation of New-Gen's suggested year one rate that was supposed to be implemented in 2025. However, as Mike explained, the board deferred the rate increase following the July 4th flood. We're proposing a 5% increase that would be effective in November 2026. The customer charge and distribution charge would be increased to cover increased labor and material costs associated with running and maintaining our system. The power supply cost remains a pass-through of the actual cost, but New-Gen recommended that we reallocate that power supply charge, the two components there, and simplify the calculation methodology to be more in line with industry standards. So now we're coming to what I consider the most important slide here, and this is our rate comparison slide. I know it's a lot of information, but I think it's important for you to see. Each month, we benchmark ourselves against 28 other utilities in South and Central Texas. The green bars represent KPUB's rates. So as you can see, our current $110 rate is the lowest in the survey. And even at the proposed $115, we would be the second lowest in the survey. Survey average is $140, and these rates change every month. So by the time we get to November 2026, the implementation date, they're likely to be higher. So KPUB's mission remains the same: to be a responsive and efficient, locally owned provider of safe and reliable utility service at the lowest responsible price. And the proposed rate adjustments support that mission. As Mike said, the KPUB board approved these rates on July 15th, and now we're asking City Council to approve Ordinance 2026-19 on first reading. I'm happy to answer any questions.
For clarity, the council can only regulate residential rates, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. The KPUB board approves commercial rates.
Also, the rate recommendation is based on a rate study, which tried to identify what it costs KPUB to produce or to provide this electricity, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
It's not a whim, it's actually someone went out and did the work, dirty or otherwise. A consultant did that for us.
Right. It's an independent consultant. It was about a 6-month process. We looked at all the actual costs, and then they also, in addition to just determining the cost, there's a rate design piece of it where they look at how should those costs be allocated to each rate category to most fairly and equitably cover the cost.
Thank you. And separately, there's been some discussion about the franchise fee that the city charges KPUB. The city owns KPUB, and all other utilities within the city pay a higher franchise rate than does KPUB. But this proposed increase in residential rates has nothing to do with that discussion.
That's correct. It assumes a 3% transfer, which is what the transfer currently is, and 3% is also what's in our budget for the next fiscal year.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for either Amy or Mike?
Oh, I would say that we're really blessed to have KPUB and the leadership that we've had through the years. This is a pretty phenomenal experience to have the rates be this low. And you don't raise the rates very often, and really the way inflation's going up, that'd be a hard thing to do. So appreciate your diligence and the good management that you all are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate the comments.
Lane?
That was a good report, and thank you for your presenting.
All right, before we take any motions, I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:43. Anybody wish to speak? All right, hearing none, the public hearing closes also at 6:43. Council, what's your will on this?
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead, please.
Mike, Amy, thank y'all. $3.4 million that y'all took out of your own stabilization funds that y'all had, so you don't have to turn around and charge the citizens. Thank y'all for the due diligence. Unfortunately, sometimes you just have to do things, and appreciate y'all being here to make everybody aware that it's, I don't want to sound crass, but it's not council doing this, it's KPUB that has to do this because y'all need a rate increase. So, thank y'all.
Anybody else? A motion on item 5B.
I would make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-19 regarding the KPUB residential rates.
I will second.
This side of the room wakes up, that's good. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we have a slew of ordinances in reference to the building codes. As you know, all ordinances have to be read into the record. And so I don't know how the division of labor will be on this, but who would like to read these into the record?
I'll read them. Ordinance number 2026-14, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas by adding Article 8 to Chapter 26, providing for the adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code 2024 edition as published by the International Code Council, Inc., providing certain local amendments to said International Property Maintenance Code containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, providing for a penalty of an amount not to exceed $2,000 for each violation of any provision hereof, providing for an effective date and ordering publication. Ordinance number 2026-15, an ordinance amending Section 26-32 of the Chapter 26 Building and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas in its entirety by adopting the International Residential Code 2024 edition for 1 and 2 family dwellings, regulating the construction, enlargement, alteration, repair, removal, demolition, conversion, occupancy, equipment use, height, area, and maintenance of all 1 and 2 family dwellings and multi-single family dwellings, townhouses within the city, adopting local amendments, providing for a penalty for violation of any provision hereof, containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, ordering publication, providing for an effective date, and providing for other matters related to the subject. Ordinance number 2026-16, an ordinance amending Section 26-31 of Chapter 26 Building and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas in its entirety by adopting the International Building Code 2024 edition, regulating the construction, enlargement, alteration, repair, removal, demolition, conversion, occupancy, use, height, area, and maintenance of all dwellings or structures, except 1 and 2 family dwellings and multi-single family dwellings, townhouses, and including the National Electrical Code as referenced herein, within the city, adopting local amendments, providing for a penalty for violation of any provision hereof, containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, ordering publication, providing for an effective date, and providing other matters related to the subject. Ordinance number 2026-17, an ordinance amending Articles 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, Chapter 26, Building and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas, by adopting the International Existing Building Code, National Electrical Code 2023 edition, International Plumbing Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Mechanical Code, International Energy Conservation Code, and the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code 2024 editions unless otherwise stated. As to building, structure, systems, and other applications within the city, adopting local amendments to each code, providing for a penalty for violation of any provision hereof, containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, ordering publication, providing for an effective date, and providing other matters related to the subject. Ordinance number 2026-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 50, Fire Prevention and Protection of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas, by adopting the National Fire Prevention Association 101 Life Safety Code 2024 edition, adopting the International Fire Code 2024 edition, adopting the National Fire Protection Association 1194 Standard for Recreational Vehicle Parks and Campgrounds 2026 edition, adopting local amendments to said codes, providing for a penalty for violation of any provision hereof, containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, ordering publication, providing for an effective date, and providing other matters related to the subject.
Thank you, Kim.
Have a sip of water.
That was like you, Mayor, reading the proclamation tonight.
Yeah, that was a long one.
I think you missed something on the very first.
Have to start over?
Oh, please.
All right, Mr. Paxton.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, we talked about this at length at our workshop at the last meeting. We are looking to adopt the 2024 ICC codes, National Electric Code, and NFPA codes. Again, this is consistent with our Resolution 13-2025, which established a policy for regular review of our codes, recommending every 6 years or every other code cycle from ICC. We are currently under the 2018 building codes. We skipped over the 2021 codes and looking to adopt the 2024. This is also consistent with the implementation plan of Kerrville 2050 to ensure the development services processes and existing codes and ordinances are not impediments to development or redevelopment. And a quick update on our timeline. June 24th, the Building Board of Appeals and Adjustments recommended adoption of the codes. Our workshop on the 28th. First reading tonight, if that's approved. Second reading would be August 25th. with an effective date of January 1st, 2027. That delayed effective date gives any projects currently in progress time to submit their permits without having to redo their plans. Any future projects, they know to look forward to the 2024 codes instead. And with that, I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Paxton? All right, do we have anybody signed up from the public to speak to any of these items? All right. I believe we can actually adopt these in one motion. This cheat sheet is accurate. Any questions or before we proceed to a motion? All right then, what's the will of the council?
Okay, I would move to adopt ordinances 2026-14, 2026-15, 2026-16, 2026-17, and 2026-18 on first reading.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. It passes unanimously. Thank you for your hard work on this. Item number 7A is a public hearing and a resolution. We don't read in a resolution, do we? No? Okay. Mr. Paxton?
This is a resolution number 32, 2026, to grant a conditional use permit for daycare services at 813 Clay Street. It is currently zoned RT. This is not a change in zoning, but just a conditional use permit for that one use. This and the adjacent properties are zoned RT, backs up to commercial on Sidney Baker C2. There is no change to the future land use plan. It is consistent with the community commercial. Here's the site showing the playground in the back. This is an existing property owned by Zion Lutheran Church, and they're wanting to expand their daycare across the parking lot to this building for aftercare only for school-age children. Planning and zoning recommended a few conditions, which you'll see in the resolution. The facility must comply with any minimum state requirements. No portion of the play area shall be within the front setback or side setbacks adjacent to a street. An 8-foot solid screening fence shall be required along the property line adjacent to any residential use. And they are limited to the hours of operation between 2 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. for the after-school care. And then any other zoning regulations would apply. With that, I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Paxton?
About the fence.
Mhm.
Is it out of the ordinary to have an 8-foot fence versus a 6-foot?
Not for the daycares. They typically have a taller fence, both for privacy and protection of the children.
Or any type of fence can be?
A solid fence, so it'd have to be a screening fence.
Right.
Either wood or masonry, combination thereof.
Okay. I know there's a speaker here tonight that wants to speak on it, but
Good. All right, we'll have a public hearing in just a second. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing on resolution number 32-2026. Do we have anybody sign up?
Yes, we do. Larry Catrin.
My name is Larry Catrin. I am a resident of Kerrville, but I'm here representing Zion Lutheran Church as president of the board of directors that oversees our daycare activities. Zion Lutheran has had a fully licensed daycare across the parking lot at the corner of Clay and Barnett Streets for over 60 years. And so about 150 feet across, as shown on the picture there, is 813 Clay Street. It's an underutilized 118-year-old house that Zion has owned for decades. Our intent is to use this house for late afternoon school child care for children from kindergarten to age 6th grade. We believe there's an unmet demand for after-school care in Kerrville. Zion's own daycare graduates 10 to 15 children per year into kindergarten. We're investing significant upgrades into the facility and the property to bring it up to city code and licensing requirements. Our goal is to open an after-school program in the facility for approximately 15 children. It will be managed by staff we have at the existing daycare across the parking lot. The children will be primarily inside the building, but there is a fenced yard in the back. We are installing a closed-circuit TV system to monitor activity from the existing daycare facility, but during operating hours from approximately 2:30 to 5:30, within the limit that was specified by planning and zoning, there will be on-site staff and management. Planning and zoning has reviewed this and added a few conditions, which of course we will comply with. We're asking City Council to approve this project because Zion Lutheran wants to offer more outreach to the community, and we believe there's an unmet need for after-school care in Kerrville. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
I can answer any questions if
Questions?
you'd like that.
Thank you. It's a public hearing. Anyone else can speak. You don't have to sign up. Come, we have to record it, so come on up, please. State your name and what city you live in.
Jacob Shively, and I live in Kerr County. I live in Kerr. My question is about on the fencing with his. Just question. You said masonry or a solid fence?
Yes, a solid wood fence, wood picket fence.
Why would a standard chain link with the proper screening like they had before be adequate enough?
For a screening fence, under the zoning code between the residential properties, it is increased to a wood fence at a minimum.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because I know a little bit about fencing and like along state highways and stuff, you know, like for tow truck companies and stuff, it has to be like 8 foot with proper screening. And then, you know, on residential sides, it has to be, or in a residential, not on a state highway, it has to be 6 foot with proper screening, like the netting.
Right.
Okay. So I just didn't understand about why so much expense, because it sounds like it'd be expensive for that fence.
Yes, sir.
Because I believe, don't y'all now have netting? It's a chain link with netting. Right. It's got the slats, right? Yeah.
Privacy for sure.
Yes, so the screening requirement is only adjacent to residential property.
Oh,
So the daycare being on the corner and adjacent to the church, it's not required a wooden fence.
okay. I was just
Yeah, so
concerned
they-
about the expense on the church. It just sounded like,
On this one, the screening requirement would only be between 8:15 and 8:13. The rear and side towards the parking lot, they could use chain link with
oh,
slats.
just a question. I was just trying to see
Great
why
question.
it'd be expensive for them to do that. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:58. Do we have a motion on this resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, please.
I was at the P and Z meeting on this, and it was brought up, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows. The pickup and drop off for the kiddos, for their safety, is going to be in the parking lot, number 721 on your site plan map. So they're not gonna be in the street, they're not gonna be on somebody else's property. They're gonna drive through the parking lot to grab or drop off their young'uns. So they're not gonna be in danger. And that was one of the main questions that was asked during the planning and zoning. Just so the public knows that they're not gonna be kiddos running around the street. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank
Good,
you.
that's good.
Is there a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 32-2026.
And I will second that motion.
Turns back to this side of the room. Any discussion?
No, I
I
think,
just want to make a comment. When he was saying that this is an unmet need, affordable daycares in Kerr County, but in specifically Kerrville, that is a very true statement. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you for
That's
stepping up.
very true.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or comment? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you all for being here. Number 8A, resolution number 34-2026. Ms. Meisner?
Yes, due to the action taken by the trustees of the City of Kerrville Employee Benefit Trust at the 5 p.m. meeting to approve the FY 2027 employee benefit plans, rates, and funding, Council will consider adopting resolution number 34-2026, authorizing the transfer of the ownership of funds from the City of Kerrville to the City of Kerrville Employee Benefit Trust to pay for employee-related group benefits for FY 2027. I did put a cheat sheet motion at your place if you wanted to use it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions for Ms. Meisner? All right, who would like to make a motion?
I make a motion for 8A, the resolution number 34-2026, employee benefits. Due to the action taken by the trustees of the City of Kerrville Employee Benefit Trust to approve the fiscal year 2027 employee benefit plans, rates, and funding, staff recommends council adopt. And I move that we adopt resolution number 34-2026, authorizing the transfer of the ownership funds from the City of Kerrville to the City of Kerrville Employee Benefit Trust to pay for employee-related group benefits for fiscal year 2027.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 8B, resolution number 35-2026. Ms. Behrens.
Good evening, everyone. So as we discussed at our last couple of workshops that we've talked about the budget, this resolution before you is to authorize the Kerr County Tax Assessor Collector to calculate our property tax rate at an emergency tax rate due to the most recent floods. It's allowed by 26042 of the Texas Tax Code, as we're all familiar with in 2026. Unfortunately, we're looking again at a major disaster. The main point of to note here is that this is only to direct the tax assessor collector to calculate that rate. It is not a request to adopt that rate or any part of that rate, and no action can be taken toward that tonight. But without this resolution, we can't ask him to calculate that rate at all. So I'm happy to take any questions. The law has changed a little bit since we dealt with this last year, and so there's some new provisions that basically requires the city to report to TDM any damages that would fit within the outline of the emergency disaster rate. And so we would have to submit those in an estimate form and then also follow up with actuals to prove that costs associated with the emergency exceeded the revenue generated by that rate.
Thank you. Do we have anybody sign up to speak?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Ms. Behrens?
We've done this before. If you have any questions.
I do, just since we did it last year. And while I'm talking about the tax rate was passed, we're not passing the tax rate tonight.
Correct.
But this allows Mr. Reeves to pull it. But if it comes to it, when it comes down to the tax rate, and I'm probably stepping ahead of myself.
That's okay.
But this is a very sensitive subject. So can you please talk about what happens to the tax rate that was adopted last year? What happens if this one's adopted after we get the numbers from Bob? Not tonight, but how it works, because it's not stacking on top of what was done last year, correct?
That's right. So in your proposed budget, when we did the tax rate calculation, and we worked through that for multiple days with the tax assessor, there's a recoupment if you look at the end of the tax rate calculation. So your state issued tax rate calculation worksheet works through values that are on the books. Based on that, our values were a little bit ahead of last year. So the way the law reads is that you cannot use a disaster rate 2 years in a row on the same disaster if your values exceed the prior year. So it's really designed to offset lost value created by the flood. So when you go back, we're going to say, to a regular tax rate calculation, you have to back out the difference between what was adopted for the emergency tax rate compared to what it would have been at the normal voter approval rate, if that makes sense. And so it was like 0.013. It wasn't a large rate difference, but that had to be backed off the calculation to set our tax rate for this year. And so the same would apply. This would be related to the new disaster. If council chose to adopt a part or up to the 8%, but then the same rules would apply. If the second year those values are greater than the values for this year, then we wouldn't be eligible to use that 2 years in a row. And again, there are more provisions within that law now, so I would think that it'd be a lot more difficult to adopt it year 2. But remember, we're also talking about rate, not revenue. And so we're talking about basically asking them to calculate our voter approval rate at 8% over the no new revenue rate compared to 3.5% over the no new revenue rate, which is the way the tax code reads now. Does that help?
It does. Clarification, so
Okay.
thank you, ma'am.
It's difficult, I know that.
And those works.
They're really fun, 82 steps to get here, but yes, they're a lot of fun.
Thank you, Julie.
Of course.
Any other comments or questions? Is there a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 35-2026.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. Passes unanimously. There's no need to go into executive session. Are there any items for future agendas?
No.
All right, hearing none. Let's adjourn this meeting at 7:06.